What's good, everyone? So we are here with episode 3, our review, and I don't really know what to say. I mean, we've dealt with a lot of craziness in this show, but for some reason our minds just keep going back to one specific scene. I don't, you know.
No, I think that scene is going to be talked about, but I think what we have to congratulate is just that the writing, the
The girth.
tragedy just gets deeper and deeper, and I just
The
for an
depth
hour.
and girth of the writing just keeps getting deeper. It's just,
Thank you. Oh man. All right, but anyways, realistically, to see these two, back, kind of just face to face, trying their best to have a civil conversation, it's a game changer in my opinion. I
I
mean,
agree.
it was great to see, and we haven't really seen them bond since they were younger. And speaking of younger, who else was extremely happy to see the one and only Millie come back as Rhaenyra?
Yeah, man,
Because
Supergirl herself.
that was
it's a good
such a
little cameo there.
man.
Yeah.
Supergirl.
Well, the way they
That's
set that
cool.
scene up was just amazing because
Mhm.
we've been like assessing like, all right, he's angry, he's frustrated,
Mhm.
he's taking on everybody else. He doesn't process his emotions at all, and so
all.
for his subconscious to start bleeding through, two different things that he technically failed or deeply felt for, and him having to deal with it is just poetry. And then for him to transition to in front of the tree, it was such a visceral scene because he was literally sewing the child's head back together. And I don't know from a metaphor standpoint what that would symbolize, but it was just really deep. So yeah, it was great to have her back, but I think even more so the way they handled the scene was
For sure.
amazing.
It was extremely interesting to see it from just how guilty he feels, because at the end of the day he's reckless, he's impulsive, but to see that, obviously there's consequences to your actions, but for him to actually feel that, this wasn't just an average death, this was a child. So to know
Guilt.
that he's not just they're not just writing him to be the badass, character without the emotions, I feel like this was a really important step for him. And I really appreciated that they did show that in some light, because the entire situation is extremely brutal. So it was necessary for them to do that. But yeah.
Imagine
kind of
Matt
this,
Smith
Yeah,
getting that page. Imagine getting Matt Smith getting those pages of like, and now he has this guilt visually. Why not? He must have been like, oh man, thank God I'm doing this for Damon. But
what's more
it's
disturbing.
like
Have you ever
he
oh, go ahead.
sequestered himself away, like he's punishing himself because he's in some
Yeah.
shitty room with a leaky roof, and his guilty conscience making him sleepwalk, and there's this creepy goth girl going, "You're gonna die in 7 days." Like he's really going through it. Honestly, he should be going through worse. Like he's a shitty person, and I'm glad he's punishing himself because it's the least he could do.
Yeah, but they're all shitty people though.
That's fine, but
this
there are
is
shitty people, and then there are people who pay people to behead children shitty. So
There it is.
this
Yeah,
is
for
like
sure.
levels with. There's like levels to shittiness.
Like Kristen
true.
Cole's shitty haircut.
Yeah, his
That
shitty
man.
haircut. He probably smells. He's a broke ass bitch.
he smells.
That's really important to throw in there. He probably does smell.
Yeah, because I know he don't be showering. He got that dirty handkerchief. He just like hanging. He just don't be whatever. That's how the dragon caught the scent. It wasn't the shiny armor. He smelled Kristen's
Because she
stanky
was
ass.
far up. I was like, I should see
Right.
this.
You got the wind caught the
Dude, I was so
Anyway.
nervous for her, bro. Like
Me too.
every little screen time that she's had, I'm like, yeah, this
I
is
know.
Game of Thrones logic. Let's throw her in give her the most screen time she's ever had, just to like give
Kill
her
her.
a brutal
Yep.
death.
Yeah.
So I'm really happy that she rode off into the sunset. And I
Yeah.
really hope those sisters outlive a majority of the characters here, because those children have gone through too much. And they're just taking a backseat from it all too. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm
Protect black women.
Yeah, Mike.
Yeah. What Mike said. Yeah, you want to expound on that, Mike? You got anything?
Listen.
You want to talk about these characters?
Yes. I just want to come in to get a good transition to that. Listen, I'm again, as someone who read the books and everything like that, there is some I would say connecting pieces that I was questioning how they're going to go through, because I just know also it's been a minute since I've reread Fire and Blood and everything, but seeing just that particular family, and also of course the actors attached to that, I do have a certain bias because I want to make sure that they're represented in the right way and they're dealt in the right way in terms of story that best suit that family, especially the Valerian family. Now, and I felt they definitely got back seat in season 1, but I wanted to see more from them. And what we saw in this episode, again, we're just seeing that at least that the narrative, the story currently right now, they just put them in a more protective state, but only time will tell, hopefully, whether that will pay off or not. But yeah, I just really just want to make sure that those characters were just in good hands for the moment, because I didn't want to be like, oh, let's just butter these characters up before we fry them, no pun intended.
Jesus.
But yeah, so but yes.
Come on, man.
I mean, listen. They are burning our black women. They're sending our black men to see the drown and be abandoned fathers, and then they're just taking them, trying to fake their deaths and stuff from actually being the duty to their families. And I'm sick of it.
Wait. Are you mad he went away, or are you happy for him that he found love during Pride Month?
Oh.
Nah, you can't say nothing on that, man.
I'm with you either way.
Anyway, I'm just saying I love the Valerian family, and I know that in the future they're not really a lot to go around. They're basically extinct other than their steel and the resources. But I just want to make sure that family was just in the right hands and stuff. That's all I wanted. And hopefully in the future of their spinoffs, we can get more explored the Valerian family and stuff. But aside from that, with this show, I'm just glad with this particular episode that we could see more of these characters, these two sisters who've actually been through a lot. But I think we actually haven't watched their time processing, aside from maybe the funeral of their mother. I think was episode 4 of season 1. When the
God.
God.
Ew.
That was a terrible picture.
God.
Yeah.
This one away.
Also, it's
Talk
creepy
about-
when you see somebody grow up and they kind of stay that same age. That's happened, right? Unless you see him, but you picture him as like
innocent.
You when you're 8. Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of weird that Damon sees her. As
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damon's a groomer, so
yeah. That's
Damon has a history of
also-
grooming, so I don't think he literally ages nothing but a number to Damon. And familial bonds, just loose suggestions.
Gotta keep it in the
For
family,
Damon.
Oh Jesus, these pictures.
Man,
I know, oh my God.
Man, flip you with those pictures, man.
Somebody gonna get rated with these pictures on there.
This is the same idiot that killed his wife. That I never understood that. I'm like, how the fuck do you think that she's not pretty or lovely and whatnot? I'm like, you dickhead. Anyways.
But Aemon though.
Amen, my baby. That's my baby.
So
Wait, he killed a kid too, though.
I know, but he's terrible. And that, you know what? An eye for an eye. I get it.
That's fine.
an eye for an
Yeah,
eye.
Is that pun intended, Vanessa?
The
I don't
difference
think- I don't think it was
between
a-
Things.
And also,
Yeah,
it's
They gave him a
kids-
pig.
the
two
difference
kids with
between the
dragons.
book and
Two
here
kids with
is he felt
dragons.
guilty, and
Yeah.
I kind of like I don't want to say I feel for him at the end of the day, but like I mean he clearly felt guilt, and although he tries
Yeah.
to play it off, I mean the dude isn't. Yeah, he's a scumbag, but I don't think he's nearly as close as some of the other characters that we've seen.
Right.
I
I,
mean,
think
he's
there's, like I
also
said, there's
younger.
layers to shit. Yeah, there's
he's
layers
at the
to
point-
shittiness. Like,
he's
he
at the
didn't
point
murder
where
a
he's
child.
100%.
rape
Yeah,
anybody.
He
Well,
didn't murder a child.
the dragon
Him and the
murdered a
kid are the
child.
same age. They're the same age. They're like both teenagers. You
And
guys
and to
forget
be
Amy's
for real, I
teenager.
mean,
Oh, so
He's
it's
also
good
a
to kill a
kid.
kid. It's good to kill a kid if you're also a kid.
Kid on kid crime.
Yeah.
Teenagers
Like-
kill each other.
Whoa,
I think
adults
whoa,
kill kill kids. Teens kill each other. I don't know.
Okay,
I didn't condone it. You just accept it.
before we go too
Kids
on
kill
to that,
kids.
I want to say flat out that the thing about his character is he is so thirsty for validation, whereas we got Allison, who we have seen time and time again not know how to handle things in crisis, not know how to, I guess, show her kids the right moves, right? Like whether it's affection or punishing them, to
I think
to
it's
the-
like- Yeah. I think it's the second child syndrome, right? Aegon was always given priority. He was the heir, right? And the traditional convention. So like the second son historically, like always kind of gets the scraps. He's not as regarded as high as he's given different titles. I feel like his like mommy issues is the fact that he's got like his little sex thing like with the lady. It's all tied to his like feeling. I feel like it's tied to his abandonment of like not feeling as loved by his mom. Like it
Yeah,
seems like that's what they're kind of writing.
exactly.
And like Allison put so much time and effort into Aegon, nowhere near, and he's still a sociopath. And Aemon just like, I'm here. I had to fight for my own dragon. Like he's always kind of like runner up, and that
Yeah,
it
and
kind of plays out.
and that's where I was kind of going with that because we're bouncing back to Helena. Is that I believe that's her name? So we see the way she's kind of coping with things where she's a little more emotionally mature than the brothers, of course. So of course she has to go out of her way and say to the adult, "I forgive you," which is just showing how many steps Allison as a mother is skipping. And again,
Hmm.
I'm not justifying the two sons and their terrible actions because at the end of the day, Aegon's a prick, but like Aemond, of course, there's just a little more to it. I feel like he just feels as though he has a lot to prove, and I don't know. I think he's just looking for validation at this point, and
And
I
the
kind of feel for
acting
him.
he put into that scene where you saw him curl
Ridiculous.
up into his shell and then he
Hmm.
put the mask
Yeah,
back on and stood back up, like that boy, he put in work on that scene. That was
the actor's
uh,
so good. Ewan something or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about Allison, like, I mean, in every different opportunity, I mean, the multiple different episodes, but even in just using this episode, she could have comforted her children in different ways. But she doesn't have that capacity. That's what she was brought into manipulation. Like she was being used every single step of the way to get her house at a certain kind of level. And it's unfortunate because, and we were saying it during the reaction, is that all the children were just unfortunately ill-equipped because of what happened to her. And it's I don't know, like there are moments that I was like, man, she could have just given him a hug, or those moments she could have just said like, thank you, daughter, like I have you, or but that's not right now, that's not in her capacity. And I think it goes even further than that, because even her relationship with Rhaenyra, like it's at this point it's at a moot point, like it's gone too far. All the things that have befallen her, all the things that she's had to deal with, all the things she's done, she's had to battle with that guilt for years, and she's had to cut off certain emotions with even trying. And so I don't know. Olivia Cook is acting her butt off, because there's
Yeah.
moments you can feel her guilt and her like desperation to do something, but she always does the opposite. That whole entire scene with her and Rhaenyra at the end, like it was so emotive, but her mouth was saying something completely different. Her mouth was saying what Otto Hightower would say. Um,
Denial.
and it's yeah, right. It's always trying to push something off. But I think it's like when she got the understanding, and they both got the understanding of what the king said and what it meant. I think that was the first time that they both came to a real good common ground. It was beautiful to see, but it's just, I think you said it, and it's just tragic. I wanted you to kind of expound on the deeper perspective of that, and kind of what it means moving forward. If anybody wants to.
Well, I just think that there's a Shakespearean like twinge to this, right? Like they both see the cliff, but they were blinded so much by ego, pride. They getting manipulated by everybody else around them. Whether that's her father, Christian Cole, whether it's her counselor, Damon, and they're pushed to these wars and also their own issues. They both got effed over by their parents so much that they're still living up to things they're it's not even their voices they're speaking with anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody's paying for it. So even though they see it, they kind of feel like they're caught in the tide. And neither one of them really have the power to stop it. She's begging her to stop, thinking that she's the queen, but she's even lost what influence she had over Sir Christian or whatever. When she gave him that look like, I can't believe I've been effing you. like and her father's gone. And so like this is taking on a life of its own. And that's always tragic. And you know, it's reminded me of this Doctor Who episode where the doctor gets two parties. He's like, you could have stopped us any time, but before all the children died, before all the homes got burnt, when all you had to do was talk, but now it's too late. They can't. Neither one of them can stop this fire. If either one of them went back and said, "Yeah, let's just call this war off and talk," who's going to support them to do that?
Nobody would listen. They would have their own
Nobody's gonna
agenda.
listen.
They would have their own agenda at this point.
They would lose more power, and people, and it's just a shame. And these two friends who got separated by politics, right? She didn't want to screw her father. She didn't want to be queen. She didn't want to lose her friend. And I don't know. I think it's tragic. And so when you get to the end of whatever the story, not spoiling, but because I don't know how they're going to do it, but when they get to the end of it, it's just going to be a tragedy over a misunderstanding and a few choice words, and really other people's ambitions and egos.
The echoes of Otto's actions still hit, like a season and change. It's still hitting, just him affecting past where he's at, because he's not even in the castle anymore. And I echo what you said, Sam, about Olivia Cook. There's this moment towards the end of the episode where she has this look, and it doesn't like go full emotion about it, but she has this look of like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
What I heard was this and this, and then putting together the steps. If this wasn't interpreted that way, we could have avoided this, and we would have been in a completely different world.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, kudos to these actors and what they're doing with what they're given.
I once had a client who, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I once had a client that we were doing a Zoom call, and a dog came in, and she had said, "Oh, stop that! You don't deserve food," or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." And she was like, "No, Mr. Anthony, I'm gonna feed him. It's just something I say." And then we found out that was something we explored that. It's something her mom said to her. That was something her grandmother said to her mom. It was something that her great grandfather had said to his child, her children. And so sometimes we're just battling the voices and speaking with the voices of people we haven't even met. We're not even dealing with. And I feel like it's a tragedy when we let those other people weigh down our lives or dictate, our fates. And that's what I get out of this. I don't know if that makes sense, but
That
No,
makes
no,
sense, dude. You feel it.
I absolutely agree with it, because you talk about the aspect of families that, there's things like forgiveness, holding a grudge, how unforgiveness kind of spread past generations, like how we deal with conflict, how we deal with trauma. But when you're talking about in terms of that pattern behavior passed down in two different aspects of like family, because even then, Rhaenyra, got the love of her father, and since he passed away, but then yet she gave an aspect of loving her children and being nurturing and stuff. But yet Allison has, on face value, I'm the queen, I have all these, I have these children who are supposed to be heir, whatever, but yet I don't know how to love my children because I didn't receive that. All I got was just order and discipline and duty, not nurturing, care, love, or lack or a sense of empathy, when I'm going through things that I'm feeling, whatever. I didn't have a choice as a child, so why should you? But and not because whether she has a gripe against her children, that's all she knows, right? And I think that's again the tragedy that now millions of people are going to be in this story. It's going to be, losing their lives, innocent people, whatever, and caught in the crossfire, all because of a misunderstanding, which is then just a reflection of ourselves and our families, or even our own personal relationships, how things can just trickle down and become a whole wildfire just from the tiniest, bit of a disagreement, or a misunderstanding, or a lie that's being passed down, whatever that might be. And I think that it kind of give more emphasis on us how to understanding when we're dealing with conflict, understanding all perspectives, and actually having the invitation to listen and realize, hey, I might get this wrong here, and give up our pride and our ego. Because sometimes, like some people in this show, they're going to hold their pride to death, their ego and stuff. I am the king, I'm the heir, the screw family, so that's some of these people's motto. So it's just like I don't know, that's what I'm saying. I feel that is the true tragic story. But yeah,
I think that's a really good segue, though. Kind of before we close out, is like how initially the council on the green side was just losing their minds. Like they all had their own agenda. None of them will listen to Alicent. The king was about to go and ride off into war. And it just was all in disarray. And it's crazy because Kristen Cole initially was like, crap, I may have screwed myself. Like he cut his hair off and everything. But then the lowly feet guy came into the picture. And he was like, you know what? Let me talk to the king real quick. And he turned that thing around in such a power play. Like it looks and sounds like insubordination against Alicent, but he used the, I ain't gonna say their dissension against each other as far as family against them to get what he needed to do, which is to keep the king there. But I was gonna see if you guys could talk towards like his character, because to me, I actually am scared of this man. Like he knows too much. He has so much power without trying to gain anything. And it's like, this is the first time I think that somebody's truly acknowledged him. Like, I'm going to put you in a certain kind of place, because up until this point, he's been fine doing just chilling in his own lane. But I don't know if you guys had any sentiments on the council scene, how Alicent couldn't really do much in that situation, much like Rhaenyra. Is a great parallel to Rhaenyra in her own council, like trying to come against her. But I don't know. You guys have any thoughts towards that?
Just the mirroring stuff. How you see it early in the episode with Alicent, and then how you see it later with Rhaenyra in her council. It's really doing a good job. Not doing the cliche thing of both sides of the same coin. It's just showing that no other side really has the upper hand, if you will. I mean, some might have more dragons than others have playing, but like right now, it's like it's really weird how one move can just break one side like that. And the episode did a good job of echoing what happens when you twist words or misinterpret stuff and how that could affect the larger scale stuff. Yeah, the feet king, whatever we're calling him now.
The feet king,
Yeah,
The feet king. I love it.
the master of toes.
I think he appreciates it. He appreciates it.
yeah, that was an interesting echo thing, because I love how Sam said like that is the most dangerous man in the kingdom. And he
Look
is,
at
I
him.
think. Yeah. Kudos to the actor.
I just noticed the
I
heart
think
with the feet. I just noticed the toes.
it looks like a crime scene too. It looks like anyway. I think it's interesting because like Alicent and both Alicent and Rhaenyra, I feel like they're forgetting who and what they are. There are two women in a position of power that have, and most of the dudes around them are like, nah, I don't like this. We'll listen to you guys because you guys got dragons and like guards and stuff like that for now. But they're like on a slippery slope. They got to keep it together because there's one step and they're like, all right, we're not like Rhaenyra's already, her like foothold's already slipping because of like stuff that was out of her control. But it's like, you're the queen. Why can't you control this? So it's like another thing I hit on her because, and they'll just automatically assume because she's not a man. Oh, it's woman can't keep shit together. So I feel like they're losing a sight of that a little bit, and they need to tighten it up. But these men folk come and take their shit, which is like literally what Alicent. I mean, it's kind of already happening with Alicent. Alicent's losing her grip very quickly because Kristen's like, I don't need your vagina anymore, girl. I got the hand, and I don't need that. I don't need you anymore.
I
I
got
don't
my
need
hand.
that.
I don't need your.
He got the
I
handkerchief.
don't exactly. He's got his own hand. He's
He's
got
like,
3 hands
before
now. He don't need it.
Brazzers, there you go.
He don't need you. And then
I like how you
Rhaenyra's
think.
like, Daemon's gone. Daemon's gone. He's just like, he's self-flagellating, and nobody's listening to her, and so I think they just need to get it together because these men are moving like vultures around them.
Yeah,
Is this
no,
a
I'm glad
segue
that
to?
you.
Oh, okay, never mind. Cool.
No, I was just gonna say I'm glad you said that, Vanessa, because honestly, I was kind of like the council on Rhaenyra's side was not gonna cross Daemon because he's a psychopath,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And so the psychopath's gone, and so now
Mhm.
everything's in disorder here. It's not to say that she's
Mhm.
not smart or wise or has good counsel, but because he's so outside of himself,
Yeah,
now that
her
he's gone,
Rottweiler left. Yeah,
it's
he's
gone.
like a dog.
And
Yeah.
then on her side, her dad, as much as he controls her and controls the whole entire kingdom, now that he's not there, there's no stability there because he was the person pulling every single string, including the king. And so you're absolutely right, Vanessa. That's literally what was going on in my head. I just didn't know the right way to say it. So
And I like how they're showing that even though they have the dragon advantage. Dragons can't. I think there's a line in the book somewhere that says dragons can't hold a castle. They can take a castle, they can buy an
Right.
army, but they can't hold it. And they have armies,
Yeah.
so they can hold land, but they can't stop a dragon without fortifying the places. So I like these checks and balances. It's really well done. I think the writing here is some of the best on television at the moment, and and it comes and the acting. These people in every scene, they are selling it. They are just selling it.
Yeah.
The dude playing Aemon, again, I don't know if we're gonna talk about that or not, but just the moment the camera's on him, you felt everything.
Yes.
You
So
felt
Oh, you're talking about that
embarrassment,
scene?
body language.
anger, regret,
Yeah.
wanting to
The
cut
way he like
throat.
curls his like back, the way his like
Yes.
he like the way he
He
moves his
made it
body.
Like a
strong.
and, like,
fetus. Like a fetus. Like
yes.
And
I
then
call
he
him
put the
like my
mask.
little evil Legolas. He's like just like curls up and like as like he's just so, and then his eye, because he has like only one actual moving eye. The fact that he can like be so expressive with like
Yeah.
a fourth of his face like in prosthetic essentially is phenomenal. And like there's a few actors that can do that. And I'm gonna call out a guy who does it, Jack Houston as Richard Harrow in Boardwalk Empire, another HBO show, is a man who acted with half his face covered by a prosthetic. That is how you know someone's a good fucking actor, when they can emote and act with some of their face covered. That's fucking brilliant. Ugh, so good.
Yeah.
And also,
man,
I'm sorry, we have to talk about the dick. Why is there an open mouth dick sucking on Game of? I'm sorry, we have been riding with this show for years, and they've never
Riding.
quite
right,
shown
riding. You see
open-
that riding.
All right, I said
that
riding.
was
I
wild.
did. No
This
pun
show
intended.
for
No pun
years.
intended. We've been with
Riding
this
hard.
show for years, riding hard.
Nah,
like
we've
a
never
tyrant
seen
for
anyone smoke a
years.
pole. Like that shit was insane.
We've
No.
never seen that. Like,
Vanessa's
open
making a
mouth
point. Vanessa is making a point. Let her speak.
dick sucking.
Let her
Nah,
speak.
for real.
Dick sucking.
For real.
About time we
happened?
crossed that
Oh
picket
my
line,
gosh.
and
I
we got
lost
some equal
control of my
treatment.
100%. At this point, this is literally just porn.
Well, I mean, but think about it. We have seen people taking back shots. We have seen women going down
Yes,
on
but
women.
we don't see phalluses
We
going
don't see
inside of
pole
mouths.
smoking, bro.
Like
We
actual,
don't
like
see
I'm
pole
like,
smoking.
is that's not
porn.
that's
But
not
we've
a
seen
prop.
vagina.
Like you
But
can't
we've seen
fake that. That's
vagina.
not that a prop or
Oh yeah,
that.
you can. That's probably a prop. Okay, let's
Right,
not
exactly.
Let's get
But also,
closer.
I'll
Let's
say
separate
this:
prop.
the only thing that was missing in that scene was this.
We wanted to say we need to check this.
You see, listen, hey, I need y'all to be quiet. You know, the one scene,
Oh,
the one
boy.
thing that was missing in that scene was this. Du-dun, du-dun. You don't know where that sound
I
from?
don't get that reference.
No,
Oh, is
I don't know
is
what
that
Talking about
Pornhub?
Netflix, I guess.
Was that Pornhub?
No.
reference?
Oh,
Dun.
All right, I'm
Brasher.
gonna do some research and work on that. And next week we
Okay,
come back.
listen, do I have to go?
Moving on.
anyway. So yeah, I feel
I
like
think Vanessa has a point about
that's
that
a lot.
because from what I've
It's
seen of Game of Thrones, yeah, it wasn't. I mean, besides
That's
that,
very
what's his name?
graphic.
Well, I didn't expect the head bob. She was.
Subway Eat Fresh.
It was
Oh,
very
yeah.
graphic. I have a feeling we'll hear a lot about it, and we're gonna see a lot of gifs and videos ahead the
But
time.
Vanessa,
So
but
just
I think to
prepare for
echo
that.
with Eamon, what I was thinking about Eamon acting, even when he
Yeah.
decides to just get up and turn, it's his way of being like, "Fuck you guys." You know,
Yeah.
It was
you
it
know,
was him putting on the
my-
mask
you know.
because you saw him
Dick
curl up
out.
in the shell, and he was like, "Huh."
I know. Yeah, but that's a good point. He went from like curled up like a fetus to being like, actually, behold my dick. Like he just
Yeah.
like, fuck you guys, yeah. And just walked off. I was like, yeah.
And you saw the
I figured,
the
yes,
sex
Mike. I
worker-
figured it was something.
And you thought the sex worker saw what he was doing. Like the sex worker, when
Yeah.
you could tell. Like,
Mike, what are you
Oh.
doing? Mike, what are you doing?
I figured it was something to do with porn.
Mike,
Yeah,
what are you doing?
Okay.
You're gonna get them demonetized out here.
didn't I?
Man, I didn't say nothing. I said nothing.
You know.
Anyways,
anyway.
anyways,
everybody
I
on
think-
this because usually I'm the problem in the comments. So remember, comment people.
True. It's
I
true.
literally
Usually and out of
Me this
pocket.
time.
But listen, this is payback. This is payback for years of putting women in these useless, sexist sex scenes. In these Game of Thrones. Listen, it's like, you know what? We don't know how to write this episode. Let's just put a sex scene here. They do all the time, and this is payback we're getting. So hey.
So you
Nah,
think
I don't know if
penis
it's
is a
payback
punishment?
though, because I don't think the women were rooting for the penises.
Yeah, I don't think we needed to see the full blowjob situation,
I'm
but
just
whatever.
saying.
I think you don't understand women's DMs.
I mean, I appreciate your
Women's
allyship,
DMs are full of
We
this
see
shit.
all the women and nothing of the men.
Unrequested penises is not something that women.
Yeah, I don't. And I was like, whoa. Yeah, I don't need.
I
I
mean,
didn't.
and
I
anybody
it,
pulling out
personally
they
the
didn't
foam
zoomed
need.
in
fingers
on
for
it.
penises,
Now,
bro.
That was
Jason
revenge.
Momoa,
I
if Jason
didn't need.
Momoa had walked
There
across
was a
the
Starbucks
stage,
cup in there.
that might have been a different requested penis.
Other
But
than
the
the penis, though,
random,
other than the penis, I think it was a great episode. I think it's extremely
are you
necessary.
anti-penis?
I think we should move on and we should do our letter
I
grade
agree.
because it's not House of
About the
Cocks. We're not
penis?
doing
Like, are
this.
we judging
This is
penises now?
bro. This is
I
no
mean,
Rated
because
I'm
that
D
for
for
it if you
dick.
are,
this
but
is a premium. That's a premium video, bro. If y'all want to talk about peepees
Patreon
and all that
exclusive.
nonsense,
JVS
y'all can go
after
to
dark.
Oh my God,
Team
it's the second
JVS
time
After
he's
Dark.
mentioned this.
Yeah,
That
and
doesn't
he
exist,
might
everybody.
be onto something.
That
He
does
might be
not
onto something.
exist.
But we're gonna
Yes.
move. We're gonna
It
move
does
on to
not
letter
exist.
There's
grades.
no feet. There's no
Yes.
nothing. There's no.
Okay,
Bizzy's trying to keep it. He's trying to get a hold of this. So we're
as
doing
a whole,
on,
for an
let's move
episode,
on.
what do we
Great.
all think as a whole episode? What would we grade this episode?
Ronan, you answer.
I
I.
would go A.
Oh, you. A.
Yes, I think if it's not the 1-2 punch that the first two episodes did, but with the moments we spent with the characters, just switching how they were thinking and how their mindsets, what Damon experienced with his nightmare, if you will. I think it's an A in that section.
I agree. It's an A. I liked it. Yeah, it's pretty good. I think we talked about everything. I love Amond. I love all the character exploration we're doing with that, and more character time with Bela and Bela and Reyna. Yeah, I want to see more of them. Like I love. Oh, we didn't even talk about it, but I really, really like. And Mike made a good point, or someone made a good point about
It was me.
actually showing them having Corliss and Rhaenys
Yeah.
having
Yes.
actual
Yeah.
chemistry. Like that was the first time I was like,
Yes.
oh, they seem so
They're a
sweet.
couple.
Like I've never. Yeah,
They're
they actually
married.
look really coupley. Yeah, they felt like actually. So maybe they like really stepped it. They whatever they did, they killed it. They're killing it this
Definitely.
season.
Definitely.
So I really like their relationship. That was probably the highlight for me. Also seeing Amond always. Not
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Final letter grade.
Oh, okay. I didn't know. Shit. One time I didn't interrupt. Anyway, so I'm gonna give it an A. I think it started off really strong. I like how you see how past generation of animosity can affect the children, and we saw two children fighting. They probably don't even know what that argument started over. All they know is my dad talked bad about your dad,
Yeah, that's a good point.
and that was a good way to frame what is happening, how things get out of control, and I think they've done a great job of that all through this series.
Which
And,
was really cool. Now, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but you mentioned that,
deserve
and then they bring up a line. There was a line earlier on when they were at that forget what the Harrenhal, and we have the guy who was running it who was talking about how they're
we didn't
beefing
talk
with
about
another.
that.
They were beefing with another clan, and he was literally saying how they don't even know how it happened. They just know that they're beefing. So I just want to mention how that line kind of is exactly what you were saying. Goes with what you were saying. You can go back to it.
Yeah. So I mean, so I thought that was beautifully framing or introducing what we were going to see at the end of things just getting out of control. And I'm sure both those kids' fathers was like, "What the heck happened over stones? Like you like over stones?" And I don't know. I just like that. So A, yeah. A.
Mike.
I think probably for another episode probably in the future, because this was like one scene I think we didn't talk about, which is about the potential Targaryen bastards.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, Blackfire.
Good pick,
Again,
bro.
I won't say anything because I know what's gonna happen, but I just said that's just something to look out for and very interesting.
Wait, did
but yeah,
I'll give
this an A because I really think the pinnacle part of this episode was the ending with Rhaenyra and with Alicent. The fact that we at least get that clarity as an audience, but also they get that clarity even though they made up their own minds, and kind of representing even when the truth is presented to yourself that wait.
Nothing.
Keep going, Mike.
I'm confused.
Yeah, it's sorry, buddy.
But anyway, I'm just saying that I feel like with that scene is a representation of even when the truth is presented to you, when you're made up your mind, there's nothing that nobody can do, and even that can lead to your benefit or your detriment. Who knows? Yeah, I think I will give that A. Continue on with the rest of the season. I'm glad there was no major deaths in this episode because I know that next week stuff about to happen. That's what they're setting us up for. So I'm all here for it, for the ride and all of it. So yes, Team Black always.
And Sam, how are we finishing it off? You or me?
I'll go next. This was amazing, man. I think the writing was really freaking good. Yeah, I don't know. The thing about it, there was no major death, but I think that the seeds that they sowed in the first season were paid off so well. Like everything leading up to certain arcs and certain characters, even down to like Rhaenyra taking Daemon's daughter, and she had Kristen Cole and them at the woods, and we were kind of like, why don't you just burn it down? Later on, to go back to you, like, okay, you were only supposed to engage. You were not supposed to start anything. She had enough wherewithal to not do anything, but at the same time, she could have. And so it was really great acting, really great writing, and I think this is an A+ for me. I actually really thought that this was so well written. So we'll see what happens in the next episode. I think it's definitely going to be pretty bad. I just don't know where this leads to, especially that last scene with Rhaenyra.
Yeah. I agree. I feel like it would be an A+ for me if there was a few more penises. But other than that,
oh my God.
I think I'm gonna stay with an A. It was a good episode. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Again, the ending was crazy. It's gonna be really interesting to see how people are gonna kind of react to Rhaenyra being there if they do find out. But yeah, another bop. I'm excited for more.
Game of Thrones Boogie Nights.
Okay.
We're gonna go, everybody. Make sure you go and check out these amazing people's content. Ronin, where can everybody find your content real quick?
At Ronin Unchained on YouTube and on the socials.
Yes, sir. Vanessa, where can everybody find your content?
At Ben Shark on social, benshark.com, multipersoncolor.com, represent House of the D.
Yeah.
Oh no. Bizzy, where can everybody find your content?
They're gonna find me at Bizzy Braun, Bizzy Reactions on Instagram, and doing reviews over here. And if you guys want to see our reactions to the many penises, you know where to go.
Oh, that reaction's gonna hit. It's gonna trend.
Start out, Mike. Where can everybody find your content?
It's not gonna suck, I'll tell you that.
Wow.
Mike, pull it together. Where can everybody find your content? All right, thanks, Mike. And go. Where can everybody find you?
Are you in a tent?
Fighting for Odin.
He's camping. Camping, watching Game of Thrones.
I'm done.
All right, we're gonna go. Hope you guys enjoyed this review. We'll be back next week. Go in the description bar below. Check out all their content. If you want to see more, go to Bizzy Bond Reactions as well. And we'll talk to you guys later. Peace, people.
Filing out the top of I can see the skyline, 50 mile radius on my timeline. Ain't nothing on my mind. Oh Lord.